India have a new test captain, Shubman Gill.
Yeah.
What do you think? Because I think we disagree on this.
I don't think he's ready.
Oh.
It's a little too early.
I think I'll contrast you here. I do actually think Gill is fine because why delay a transition when you have to address it anyway? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Knuckleball podcast. I'm Roddur Mookherjee. I'm joined by my co-host Sriram Ganesh and Sriram.
Yeah.
Today we are talking about the warm-up series to the Ashes.
Yeah.
Right?
Perfect, no?
Yeah, the perfect warm-up to the Ashes.
Yeah.
How excited are you for the warm-up series? India versus England.
It's very exciting for the English. They get to practice against us. Yeah, but
They get to practice losing against us
yeah.
before they lose to Australia.
At home. They're
before
inviting
they lose
us
to Australia.
lose. Fantastic. But again, for more context, why we are calling this the warm-up to the Ashes is because
Graeme Swann, former England spinner, one of England's best spinners ever, he came out and said this is the perfect warm-up for the Ashes.
For England, which is a very bizarre thing to say.
Yeah, because 3 World Test Championship finals have been held in England.
Yeah.
England have played in none of them.
Yeah.
And
Baseball.
And for all the
Baseball.
Baseball.
Yeah. That's the
Yashasvi
answer to
Jaiswal
everything.
took his inspiration from baseball.
Yeah.
If you remember.
Jaisball.
Yeah.
Jaisball.
And I mean, what about the? And here's a very interesting stat I'll tell you.
Yeah.
England have not won a test or any series against India since 2018.
Fantastic.
They have not won an Ashes
Great
since
warm-up.
2015.
They definitely need the warm-up.
The warm-up is, they'll be lucky to win the warm-up.
Yeah, that's very true.
So, just an incredible statement.
It's very bizarre.
It's said by Graeme
It's very,
Swann.
very bizarre. There are 2 or 3 ways of looking at it. You can just take the funny side, like, oh, it's his funny banter. He's just throwing out a feeler at the start of the season. Sure.
Yeah.
But it's just unnecessary. It
Exactly.
just doesn't make any sense. If it were someone, a team like Australia, for example, who really back their talk.
Yeah.
Let's be very honest here, right?
Yeah.
If the Australian side wants to come out and mouth off, fantastic. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It just fuels our players as well. This is just unnecessary. This just doesn't do any justice to anybody.
Yeah.
I don't think the English side right now wants any extra fuel on the Indian side. Because as bizarre as circumstances might be for the Indian team as well, in Test cricket, for example, no team is ever weak.
Yeah.
An Indian team is never going to be weak
heading
into any series, for example. Yes, the tide hasn't been the most favourable. That goes without any question. The last year or so in red ball cricket has been very underwhelming for India.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. But England haven't been great either. And it's been a very long time since we've seen a good England performance.
We talk so much about the fact that Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma had this abrupt decline and they suddenly retired. Well, Rohit Sharma was scoring 400 runs in a series against England just a year ago. So, England don't get to talk that. For sure.
And especially someone who's nowhere associated with the English setup. This is a broadcaster. Let's be very honest.
Yeah.
It might sound very blunt. I like Graeme Swann, but this is just Graeme Swann, that's what I said. Graeme Swann. But this is not unnecessary. This is very unnecessary.
Yeah.
Okay, coming back to let's keep the banter aside.
Now, how excited are you for the series?
I'm very excited for the series.
This is the start of the World Test Championship 25 to 27 cycle.
Yeah.
And it could not start on a grander note, really.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Simply, I mean, any English, any series in England is always going to be very special. You know, it's always going to be quite exciting because, you know, historically India have done not so well, but over the last couple of series we've done really well when we've travelled. So it always helps. But the one point that I'm most excited about is the fact that we get to see the team in reds again, in red ball format again.
And if we have to address the elephant in the room, India have a new test captain, Shubman Gill.
Yeah.
What do you think? Because I think we disagree on this.
I don't think he's ready.
Oh.
It's a little too early.
Why do you think so?
First of all, I think the biggest, I mean, if we're talking about the elephant in the room, the biggest problem is he's never captained India in the red ball format before. And for him to be
or in any format for that matter, he hasn't captained India in any format.
That's what I'm saying. He's just not captained. He's not led India in any format.
Yeah.
And for him to be thrown into the deep end in the way that he has been, it's a little unfair on him.
Yeah.
Because a test series in England is not that easy.
Who would
Virat Kohli made it look very easy, but it's not easy.
Who would your captain be then?
I would have ideally gone with Bumrah if he were to play the five test matches.
I think we can both agree Bumrah would have been the first choice anyway.
But
we know the
circumstances considered, I would have probably gone with KL.
Okay.
I would have gone with KL.
Just experience.
Experience, he's been there, he's done that before, he's led India in test matches.
I feel like KL is the sort of person who probably thrives better without captaincy. So
I think the biggest factor why I thought KL would be a good India, like a transitional captain, is the fact that he's got his mojo back, which is very important.
Maybe.
That Champions Trophy run was so crucial for KL as a batter, which then led on to the IPL where he was fantastic again this year, did superbly well, and now was the perfect time, because in any case, if it weren't to be Gill at this point of time, it was always going to be a transitional captain. We always knew, like I think for a good year or so, we have known that Gill is going to be the all format captain for India going forward. How soon it would be was the question. I think it's a little too soon.
I think I'll contrast you here. I do actually think Gill is fine, because why delay a transition when you have to address it anyway? There's no point in
But I think the biggest
delaying
question
the transition 2 years, because even then you would have the same question of is he as he captain
there are a
enough?
couple of ways of looking at that as well. What if you give him the reins too early, it doesn't work out, and then his stock just drops? You don't want that either, do you?
Yeah, but you can prepare him, and I think Gautam Gambhir is the right person to have as a head coach at that point.
It's a very cruel atmosphere. Let's be very honest. Results are what matters.
His play as well.
Of course.
Results
matter a lot. And if God forbid this series doesn't go well, already there will be thousands and millions of doubters already out there who are saying it wasn't the right choice. I'm not saying it's the right or the wrong choice right now. It's just a little unfair,
right,
to throw him into the deep end the way that he has. A home series against a weaker side would have helped him a lot, because that gives him more opportunity to express himself as a captain. We don't know his identity as a captain yet, right? So for him to go out there and prove himself right away in English conditions where it's very hard to make runs.
I hear you. I'll just point out that Virat Kohli made his captaincy debut in Australia.
I know.
So
I understand that.
Champions are made when you put them in tough conditions.
But Virat Kohli was also scoring bags of runs.
He wasn't actually. Now let me point this out to you. Shubman Gill's test average is 35. Not great, but when Virat Kohli became captain, his average was also under 40. So it's not a world of difference between Kohli 2014, 2015 taking over the captaincy,
but Kohli scored
and Gill taking over the captaincy
Kohli
now.
Scored hundreds in back-to-back innings in Australia in the single test match.
As captain,
yeah.
Exactly. So we don't know whether Gill could do that too.
It looks unlikely, let's be honest. I'm not a Gill doubter. By no means I'm not a Gill doubter. I want him to succeed. I want him to do very well. I just think it's a little too early. I think this was, for me, looking at it, rewind back to like 2 months ago, I was looking at this series as the perfect opportunity for Gill to establish himself as a star batter. I was looking at this as the platform that launches Gill as the superstar test batter, not as India's captain.
I mean, he could end up doing both.
I hope it does both.
Yeah. And I would also, one more reason why I love it is, I think India is obsessed with that mega talented right-handed batter.
Yeah.
So there was Sachin.
Sachin.
And then there was Kohli. And then for years, the person who's meant to take over from Kohli has been Gill.
Yeah.
And
there was KL before that, but
KL was sort of with Kohli, whereas Gill is definitely after Kohli. And Gill will play for another 10 years, we hope.
Yeah.
And he was going to be captain sooner or later. So I like that romantic angle of Gill now, hopefully fulfilling
passing of the baton,
that,
basically.
the passing of the baton, exactly. So I'm all on board for it.
Yeah.
I've been impressed by the way he's captain for Gujarat Titans.
I have absolutely no doubts on Gill as a white ball batter, by the way. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Top of the line, 100%. He's not proved it yet. I hope he does very soon. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, like I said,
because I think the most important part of looking at it is, as I said, it's a very cruel atmosphere. Chances might run out very soon, as bizarre as it sounds.
True. But then again, you've dug a hole into, and you probably assign another temporary captain then, which is a bigger problem. So I think Gill has the time to
he does have the time,
to be backed and for people to understand, okay, he's young.
Yeah.
And I mean, we were bantering Swan, so I am not sure he's going to lose either. I think he has a good chance of winning.
Yeah.
And I've been impressed with whatever he's shown with Gujarat Titans. Using his bowlers, using limited resources. Nobody really fancied Gujarat Titans as a bowling heavy side. Yeah. But Siraj performed.
Krishna performed.
Prasidh was incredible, and even though Rashid didn't perform, he got the best out of so many good bowlers. He utilized them really well. I really like that bit. But
speaking of unlikely candidates, let's start off there. One of the biggest talking points this time around is the fairy tale comebacks.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be making the headlines all over. I mean, aside from the fact that
dear cricket, give me one more chance.
The one more chance has come here.
It's such a beautiful story. Karun Nair, I mean, he's going to play the first test.
100%. I think he should play the entire series.
He probably will, depending on performances.
Yeah.
He's, I think, nailed down a spot for the first test.
Yeah.
Because he scored a double hundred for India.
Game, India's warm-up game.
Yeah.
The actual warm-up game.
I think this is India's warm-up match for the next series, actually.
100%. For the home series we're preparing in England.
Yeah. But Karun Nair, what a story.
100%.
Bags and bags and bags of runs.
He has broken the door down.
Yeah.
Like there's no other way of putting it. He has had a ridiculous run in domestic cricket. Came back into the IPL, smashed it a bunch.
Yeah.
There was no way he was not getting picked.
Yeah.
I think it came to that point where I think the selectors were almost like, this is the first name on the team sheet. Honestly.
And he adds this very needed experience into what is not a very experienced batting order.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of young guys, Pant and Gill and Jaiswal,
Sai
Sudarshan may or may not play, let's see. And Jurel and all are on the backup. Nitish Reddy, they're all young. Karun adds that experience.
Yeah.
Karun has been in the squad for England before.
Yeah.
So he knows the conditions. He's played county.
And the best fairy tale part of all of this is he's making his comeback against England.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is the best thing. Scored a triple 100, disappeared, comes back against England after Graham Swan has bantered us. So let's see if he smashes another one this time around.
I would so love if he's able to have a good series.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he's there in the squad.
Yeah.
But do you think he should bat 3 or 4?
I think he should bat 5. Because I have Sudarshan in my team.
You'll
3.
go with an extra batter then?
Yeah,
Wow,
100%.
okay.
Because, we talk about the predicted lineup at the end of the episode. But I genuinely think India should go into it with Pant as their 6 rather than their 5. I think you can pack another batter in there.
Right.
Because I don't think England's batting order is that great as of now.
I don't think England's bowling is that great.
That's what I'm saying. So if their batting is not that great, you can sort of compromise with having 3 frontline bowlers and 2 all-rounders who can give you overs rather than going with 4 frontline bowlers, right?
Yeah.
So it really helps you across both.
And speaking about comeback stories, this one I did not see coming.
I sort of did.
I did not see it coming when he got dropped after 2023. So this man last played in England for the World Test Championship final in 2023 and heavily criticized because he took Ashwin's spot in the 11 and India went on to lose. Yeah, the Lord, Shardul Takur.
Yeah.
And somehow he's made his way back. I did not think he had an India career left in him. He's come back.
It's a great story. It's again
Rohit Sharma and Yashasvi Jaiswal played for Mumbai earlier this year.
Yeah.
But the man who scored a century in that match was Shardul Takur.
Yeah.
India and India played an intra-squad warm-up match a couple of days back. Nobody scored 100 except Shardul Takur. What's up with this guy? This guy did not even get picked for the auction.
Yeah.
In the IPL.
Yeah. He made a very big impact for Lucknow, by the way.
And then he was phoned back by Zahir Khan. He came in, bowled at the start, caught wickets, then got smacked for a 6 by Suryavanshi on his first ball.
Yeah.
And then he's come back into the side, he's performing. He's made such an impression, he's probably walking into the first 11 straight away.
Yeah.
Maybe.
He does. I think he does. I think he'll play at least like a couple of test matches, I think.
He'll definitely play. I genuinely think, given his recent form, he probably gets into the first 11. I think he gets into my first 11 just about because of his form. Incredible story.
Yeah, because that's what it comes down to. It's an incredible story.
Yeah.
Like, if you were to pick an India squad without Kohli and Rohit in it, I don't think in a million, just even a couple of months before the IPL,
yeah,
I don't think there was even anyone in the entire country who would be like, I think Shardul might make a comeback.
Exactly.
Even with Karun, we kind of saw it.
Yeah.
We were hoping for it.
Yeah.
To a point, because he has been smashing it all across. So we were kind of hoping that Karun might have like a fairy tale sort of dream scenario there. But Shardul was never a part of the conversation. And for him to come in, and now, as we said, he might be one of the nailed on starters in that team. It's absolutely crazy. And I really like it. I really hope it works out as well, because he's the right mix of attributes and qualities you need there.
Yeah.
He's a little slower on the side, ball moves around. He has that uncanny sort of knack of picking up wickets in very weird moments where he just comes in and just picks up a very crucial wicket every now and then. Has the pinch hitter ability at the back.
Yeah.
He's scoring hundreds now, which is very bizarre to me. But yeah, he has that 50 ball 30 or like a 30 ball 40 even in a test match. Somewhere he just has that. So he can really help out if there is a top order collapse. He's the
perfect number 8.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So I think it works out all around. I think it checks out a lot of boxes for India.
Yeah. I'll now move this conversation on to the pace attack.
Yeah.
Which...
Perfect transition.
Yeah. Because,
medium pace to pace.
Yeah. So... let's also just build the India 11 as we go through this. But if Bumrah does play, and I think he will definitely play the first test, because
I think he's playing the first 3, because I think he's made the declaration yesterday, right? That he's going to play 3 test matches.
He'll play 3 tests. I don't think it'll be the first 3. I think he'll play 1, 3 and 5.
I don't think it'll be that.
I don't think he'll play the first 3, simply because the gap between the second and the third test is only 4 days.
No, I get your point.
So I don't see him playing both 2 and 3. He could play 1, 2, 4 or 5, or 1, 3 and 5. But I don't see him playing 1, 2, 3. I would love it if he does, but I don't think it's happening.
I think you just wrap the series up quickly, no? With Bumrah there.
Finish off the warm-up fast.
Yeah.
But no, I think definitely the first test, because you need to make a strong impression. You need to set off on the front foot.
Just the thought of him rattling through that England top order. If we win the toss and bowl first, the first session will be so magical.
Yeah, it will
just be so magical.
I mean, it's we have Mohammad Siraj as well.
Stumps
back
flying
in his
everywhere.
mojo.
Stumps flying everywhere.
Swinging conditions in England. It will be really, really good if India get to bowl first on the first day of the first test. But yeah, I think just coming back to which tests he'll play, I think he'll play number 1, and then I think he'll play 3, because Lords is the third test.
Yeah, I think that's why I said I think 1, 2, 3.
And I think they won't make him play 4. Definitely 5, I think, because it depends on the series.
5
really
is
after
Headingley,
that.
no?
No, first one is at Headingley. 5 is at the Oval.
5 is at the Oval.
And I think it obviously will depend on the series where it's at. But let's say the series is on a cliffhanger. They'll probably keep him for the last test so that England can't rest on their laurels.
Yeah.
Thinking, okay.
If it's a 2-2, then you just go full hammer time.
Exactly. But
pace options.
Pace options. I think Bumrah, obviously.
Yeah.
Siraj, obviously, I think.
Prasidh Krishna, Siraj are, I think, pretty much nailed on after the
You think Prasidh Krishna is nailed on?
I do think so.
I have a...
Because I think
really
the one thing
that... Arshdeep Singh.
Yeah. So that's what I was coming to. I think in the test matches that Bumrah doesn't play, I think Arshdeep plays instead of Bumrah.
A straight swap?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because I don't think Bumrah and Arshdeep will play together.
A certain Mr. Harshit Rana has been added to the squad.
Please. Moving on. Completely moving on. We'll come back to that later. I think perfect trio of pacers for me. with Bumrah in it would be Bumrah, Siraj and Krishna. If Bumrah is not
with
there,
the fourth pacer
fourth pacer
or
being
with two
Shardul.
spinners?
Yeah.
With
Shardul.
fourth pacer, okay.
Yeah. Shardul being there.
Okay.
Shardul or another name that I'm going to throw in there in the next segment. I think Jadeja will play.
Yeah.
Jadeja will play, I think, every test match. Pretty much.
Yeah, unless he has a horrible drop-off in form, I think.
I don't think he will, though. I think he has too many dimensions in his game to have a horrible drop-off for him to be dropped.
True.
Right? So, I think he's going to have a good series with the bat as well. I think we're completely writing him off as a test batter, which is a very wrong, like, it's a very stupid thing to do, by the way. I think he's completely adequate test batter down the order alongside Shardul.
He's a great test batter. He averages nearly 40 in the last couple of
More
years.
than the test captain.
Which is...
I had to throw it
with his bat. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, I think he's going to play every test match.
Yeah.
I think Jadeja plays every test match. So, I think that will be my 5 bowling.
I agree with the pacers, but the one place where I am slightly confused about, or where I am not sure how I would like to see it, I'm not sure how India would go. I do kind of think they will go with the way you suggested, which is they'll go batting heavy. They'll put maybe Sai Sudarshan and Nair both.
I hope
maybe instead of, if they don't want to play Sai Sudarshan, maybe they'll put Jurel.
I think over Jurel you have to go with Sudarshan. If you have Pant, you don't really... I think Jurel as a batter doesn't merit...
Jurel's done really well in the A games.
He has. But I think...
come of age.
But I think his upside as a batter is far more than Jurel.
True.
I think I'm looking at it from that perspective.
But I do think they'll go like that, and then maybe so if we just go through it, maybe they'll go with Jaiswal and Rahul's opening.
100%.
You think Sai Sudarshan at 3?
Gill at 4. Gill at 4 is not nailed on now.
It's the succession plan, like we said. Sachin, Kohli,
I would have ideally wanted him to bat at 3, I really would have wanted him to bat at 3, because what I was initially thinking about was that they might open with Sudarshan and Jaiswal, bat Gill at 3 and KL at 4.
That's another debate to be had.
Because KL is the most experienced batter in that system. I think
you don't tinker with KL anymore, because give KL his spot.
Yeah.
He's played in 500 spots already. You give him...
He's done well in every single one.
True. But give him one role, I think he opens. There's an experience alongside Jaiswal, so 100%. It's not completely new at the top. So you're saying Sudarshan 3 probably.
Sudarshan 3.
Gill 4, Nair 5.
Pant 6.
Pant 6.
Jadeja 7.
Shardul 8.
Shardul or another name that I'm going to throw in there.
Go ahead.
Nitish.
Okay. So I initially did think Nitish would play. But because of the way Shardul has made an
that's
impact...
what I'm saying. I don't think Shardul or Nitish will play the entire series. Both of them, I think, will alternate, depending on how it goes. So I think if Shardul doesn't have a great... I think he starts the first test match.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Shardul starts the first test match. But if it doesn't go well for him, I think Nitish is a very adequate replacement.
Yeah.
His heroics in Australia will never be forgotten.
Yeah.
So I think if he comes in and just... If you have there's
a pros and cons. Nitish is a slightly better batter,
100%.
I think. Shardul's probably a slightly better bowler.
But I think if you have the luxury of having Nitish Reddy batting at 8, you take it.
Exactly.
100%. Because I think you can still do... Again, I want to banter the English so bad. The England batting lineup does not require 5 Indian bowlers. Let's be honest. 4 will do. So if you have Jadeja and the 3 pacers, you can play Nitish.
Possibly. So, but for the first test, I think Shardul.
Shardul does play.
I have another wild card that I want to throw in there.
Don't say Harshit Rana.
No. It's Kuldeep Yadav.
Yeah.
Because
it's not a wild card. I think it's just a consideration.
Yeah, it's the same. Do you play 2 spinners or 1 spinner debate?
I think it just makes the batting a little
It's just the fact that Kuldeep Yadav is such an X-factor left-arm Chinaman, and English players do not play spin well.
Yeah.
They do not play spin well.
Harry Brook is already sweating.
And apart from Joe Root, they don't have a really sound batter when it comes to temperament, is what I feel. Harry Brook's not there yet. The openers and number 3 just go berserk.
Yeah.
Ben Stokes will be dealt with by Bumrah. So I think there's a very good question to be had of maybe you don't play Prasidh Krishna, You go with Shardul.
I think Prasidh,
And
the reason why
and you go with Kohli.
I'm sort of running on this Prasidh Krishna bandwagon is the fact that he has the dimension that the other two don't.
True.
I think he's
Hit the
abnormally tall. He's a little abnormally tall,
Yeah.
and that just gives you a little more variety. Because I think line and length is great. Siraj does that. Bumrah is the master at that. You have Krishna also who does
He's
it
sort
really
of the
well.
Ishant Sharma profile.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just have that extra dimension of extra bounce. You don't really associate English conditions with extra bounce.
Yeah.
So if you have Krishna who can do that a little bit, you need to have X factors, yaar. You can't go into it with the most conventional options anyways.
Fair.
You have the unconventional category being dealt with completely with Shardul. Let's give it that. He completes that entire criteria on his own. But I think Prasidh Krishna should play at least 3 test matches.
Yeah, I definitely see him playing 3 test matches.
As I made my point earlier as well.
And he's in great form.
He's in great form.
Which is the biggest plus heading into him. He's in
But I
great
think
form.
the one thing that I touched upon earlier as well, I think I do want to see Krishna, Siraj and Bumrah bowl together.
Right.
And when Bumrah is not there, I want them to go with Ashdeep.
Yeah, I think I'm on board with that. Akashdeep maybe. I think
It's a little tough for
injuries
Akashdeep.
aside, he's probably not going to get in the 11.
If we're expecting India to completely dominate them and win the first 3 test matches continuously, then Akashdeep might get a game in there at the end. So let's hope for that.
Yeah. Okay. Final thoughts, Sriram. Predictions.
We've done the predicted lineup as well, sort of. We'll have the graphic put up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, my prediction.
Yep. Go ahead.
I don't want to put a number. I don't want
Come
to do
on.
That. I don't want to put a number out there. Because if I do, I'll probably say 5-0, but it's not realistic. I think India should come out the victors. I really do think so.
I think I agree with you.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to turn out like Australia because
Oh my god, I hope it doesn't.
Because A, I don't think England have the squad Australia have, and B, I don't
There's
think
too much adrenaline in the side now for
Yeah.
us to like rest on anything really.
Yeah.
Because I think heads dropped in Australia. Let's be very honest. I think by the 3rd test match, heads are dropped. Even though we weren't completely out of the series until the 5th test match, heads are dropped.
Let's do just a small predictions round. So I'll ask
I think
you.
we win the Lords test match. That's my big prediction. I think we win at Lords.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah.
I'll throw a number out there. I think we'll win the series 3-2.
3-2, okay.
I think 3-2. I am going on the safe side.
Yeah, England and draws just don't go together.
There's not going to be a draw.
Yeah.
Unless there's rain. But unless
Which
there's
is very likely.
Yeah, it's England.
Yeah.
But let me just go through a couple of predictions. I'll just roll them out. You say, then I say.
Yeah.
So, top run scorer for India.
KL. Not Jaiswal.
Okay. I'll go for Shubman Gill.
Okay.
This is the coming of age of Shubman
I really
Gill
hope it does.
in whites.
I just don't want to jinx
I hope
it.
so.
I'm not jinxing
I
it.
really, really hope so. Top run scorer for England.
Okay, the root.
Joe Root?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Root.
There's nobody else.
Yeah. Top wicket taker for India. Do you think Bumrah's 3 tests will be enough
Should
to
be.
make him the top wicket
It should be. But I'm just going to throw in a very left field shout there. Jadeja.
In England?
Yeah,
No.
I think so. Because he's got.
I was thinking you were going to say Prasidh Krishna again, but
There's a shout to be made there, but I think I'm just going off of the fact that he's probably guaranteed to play all
England's
5.
batting won't survive till day 5 when Jadeja can actually take advantage of the
None
conditions.
of the test matches are going past day 4 by the way.
Are you sure about that?
I'm fairly certain.
Unless it rains.
Because England just bat for like 40 overs every game.
Yeah.
Like that's basically it. Like so there's just no point.
And okay, I'll go for top wicket taker to be Jasprit Bumrah in 3 tests.
Easy.
Okay, tell me your top wicket taker for England.
Oh God, I can't even think of any England bowlers who were that great. Overton? I don't know.
Overton is not playing 5 tests.
I genuinely don't. I don't see anyone.
I was thinking Chris Wokes just because
Yeah.
he did trouble Jaiswal and Jaiswal.
But I
in
don't
the-
know. Does he still have it?
in the England
Does he
Lions
still have?
He's the most
Wokes factor?
experienced one. He'll probably play all of the
Probably.
matches.
Yeah.
So
Chris Wokes is a
I'll
good
say
shout,
Chris
yeah.
Wokes, yeah.
Chris Wokes.
Well, that's it. I'll just take your series prediction as 5-0.
That's my series hope.
With a win at Lords.
That's a series hope. That's a series.
Yeah.
I think ideally we win 3-1 with a rain wash.
Right.
Yeah. 3-1. I'm going 3-1.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
we have now taken the banter on our side.
Yeah.
We have completely.
We'll come back to this a month later.
Yeah.
After the series is over.
Yeah.
Hopefully, where our predictions actually come true. But at the end of the day, the only prediction that we really want for us to go through is the series prediction and not the micro ones that we've thrown out there.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah.
Well,
fingers crossed for India.
That's the end of the India versus England warm-up series wrap.
This is our warm-up podcast.
Yeah,
this is a series podcast.
Okay, well, that's all we have on Knuckleball. Make sure to follow us on all socials, on Spotify and on YouTube. We post reels very, very often. So tune into them. You can go to this link here and check out the reels that we do. Well, that's all that we have for today. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sriram.
Thank you.
And we'll see you later.